that. So my name is Brock Zevan. We do this every Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 8:30-ish. We just transfer this over into Facebook Live, as well as we also are recording it. So then that way people can watch it again. We're also putting it on YouTube. So I'm just very fortunate and blessed to be able to have this opportunity to be able to have people engaged and want to hear more about it. So this morning's quote that I'm going to talk to you about is going to be dealing with motivation and desire. So one of the things I do, I read it through the Good Morning, the 365 ways to start the morning. And here's the quote this morning. It says this: in my experience, there's only one motivation, and that is desire. No reasons or principle contain it or stand against it. It states this: I have long been a believer in the type of desire referring to in this quote. Desire can move mountains, help us stand after falling for the 100th time. It can perform miracles and get us through our darkest times. When we truly desire something with our body and mind and soul, there is no indecision or moments of inaction. Every step becomes a part of the journey towards our goal. Life doesn't offer us a smooth path. Instead, it offers us mountains and valleys, cold and warm phases, life's seasons. Yet, heart-born desire propels us forward through all of life's seasons and allows us to move with purpose. What fills you with the type of desire that can move mountains? Devote more of your time to these desires and passion and nurture it. So, good morning, Christian. One of the things that I share is this, that you might have heard the story between the gazelle and a lion. And what I've learned, what happens with desire is desire to me happens internally. See, and you might be like, well, what in the world does a gazelle have to do with a lion, have to do with desire? Well, in the jungle in Africa, there's a gazelle that wakes up every single morning, and there's a lion that wakes up every single morning. And just like we wake up every single morning, there's either an exterior thing that gets you moving, or there's something internally that drives you. And as the gazelle wakes up, I just like picture myself as a gazelle. And now that you guys actually see me, like this is what I do when I'm talking to you guys. Like I literally pretend and I like do movements here. And I like pretend this, like I picture this gazelle like taking a little nap, and it wakes up. And it probably maybe tells its other family members like, hey, are you hungry? Like, what are you doing? What do you got? And the gazelle's talking to like his brothers and his cousins and everything else. And then the gazelle says, hey, did you hear that? What was that noise? And it starts looking around. And that's us in our world of society, is we're an external. Oh my gosh, I hear something. We better run. And we have to get out of here. Something is going to eat us. Something is coming after us. And so we're externally driven. But the lion wakes up and it says, hey, I'm hungry. What are we going to go after today? What are we going to attack today? What are we going to do that's going to get us what we need? Because I got that hunger inside of me and I want it. And so internally it's hungry, and internally it wants something. And so it wakes up and it doesn't care about any freaking noise around it. It's like, hey, maybe that's dinner. It's coming to us. Let's get after it and let's attack the day. And a gazelle just does it in a totally different mindset. And it's like, oh my gosh, something's after us. We better run. So today I challenge you, that desire, you need to have that desire in you that makes you attack, makes you go after. Stop running from whatever it is you're running from. If you're going to run, you might as well run towards it instead of away from it, because that's the most important thing that you got to put inside of you, because it talks about motivation in here, guys. And if you have that motivation, but it's not going to be with you every day, so desire takes over. A desire takes it to that next level, but it has to come within, just like that lion. And if you wake up like a gazelle, you're going to be running the rest of your life. But I already told you, you're going to be running no matter what. So I decided a long time ago that I'm going to run towards something and I'm going to attack it. And I might get hit and I might fall down, but I'm going to brush myself off because it talks about it in here that stand up after falling for the 100th time. Dwayne Wayne used to say, stand up, fall down 8, get up 9. And that's what life's all about, because you can't wish life to be easier. I hate to tell you this, guys, it's not. But you can pray and you can hope and you can make yourself stronger, because life is going to chew you up and spit you out if not. All right, guys, that's what I have this morning. That's what I got going on. So be that lion, be that, take yourself from that gazelle and become a lion this morning. So with that being said, one of the unique things that I'm not too sure how I'm going to do this yet, I'm still working through this because I got the chat. Good morning, D. And thank you all for that being on Facebook Live. So what I'm going to be kind of doing here is the people that are on Zoom can talk. Okay. And when they talk, you can actually hear them on Facebook Live. And so why I'm looking in this screen is my Facebook Live screen's over here and my Zoom's over here. But my Facebook Live people, you could text a question. You can ask me something and I can answer that during this time period of what we have. Now, so I can either do a role play or somebody on Facebook that has a question that they want to ask me or say something to me like, hey, Brock, what's going on? Like, it really could be anything. I don't want to make this designated to Stump the Chump, but typically in our theme when we were on the calls is Tuesdays was designated towards agents who are more veterans, maybe going through some challenges, like, hey, boy, this market is a little bit more harder than I thought it was going to be. I just read something about I'd rather have a 6% interest rate than a 10% paying 10% over appraisal price. I thought that was a pretty good topic that I just saw on Facebook. So I'm going to open it up to either a live chat. If you don't have a question out there, now's your time to present any question or anything that you have on there. Something you want to ask, maybe it was something on the gazelle or whatever it might be. Or I'm going to go to Zoom. And does anybody have something they would like to share on Zoom? You just have to unmute yourself on Zoom if you have something that you would like to share. So I'm going to open it up here to anybody while I sip on my cup of, now you guys can see I'm sipping on my cup of coffee. Who's got something for me?
Hey, Brock, it's Pamela. Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Pamela. Yes, I can. And I believe everybody on Facebook can hear you too.
Oops.
Oh, there you are.
So you know how some of our we're starting to talk to buyers about, yeah, the rates are higher.
Mhm.
But you could always refinance a lot, variable rates, whatever. Are you also, as far as the sellers, how do you talk to them about, hey, I have a 3% rate on my mortgage. Why would I want to sell? And because I have to buy and finance my new home, why would I want to sell?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. So a lot of times people are like, and I'm hearing it more and more. It's like, well, why do I want to sell? Because if I do sell, I'm going to be out buy another house that's going to have a higher interest rate, and I could have a higher monthly payment. Right? Is that kind of what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you have to find what's driving them. Okay, well, what makes you want to look for this today? Then, like, what brings us together? Like, why are we here this morning? Then, why are we having this conversation? Obviously, something must have taken place for you to be able to have this. That you wanted to have this conversation, and so I say to them, that is like what's motivating you. And then what takes place is they're either going to tell me their objection or they're going to tell me the root of why they're moving. Sometimes it's, we'll just call it how it is. Divorce. Let's just call it how it is. It's a family. We're growing. My wife's pregnant. I have no choice. I'm relocating from a job, but I just don't want to do this. But you got to be able to see what it is that they actually, what their challenge is or what's holding them back, because they're absolutely right. And you don't want to disagree with them. Okay. You don't want to say, oh, no, but you don't understand. This is what, no, that sounds salesy. Pamela, let me just tell you, you're absolutely right. Your interest rate is going to be higher. One of the ways that we could do it is we could do an arm. I would probably do a 5-year arm is what I'm hearing is the best arm to be able to do. Why is that? Is because most people live in their house for 7 years. If your interest rate does go up, maybe it goes up a point that last year and then you're moving anyways because that's what the average person does. The best line I've heard basically when it comes time for rates right now is I say this. The thing is that the interest rates, you're not marrying them, you're dating them. Okay. You're going to try it out for a little bit. You're going to see if it works. If it doesn't work, you can go back to a fixed rate. But we also know the market is cyclical, just like the market was 4 years ago. We can also expect the interest rates are going to be different 4 years from now. Inflation could be different. There's many different things that could take place, but we also know that when we were in the 80s, interest rates were at 18%. They're not at 18% anymore. Okay. We're not married to that 18% rate. We also know that we can refinance. But you want to do just like you just said here, D, you're absolutely right. It becomes, what is your motivation? What is causing you? Like, why did you start looking? I mean, you already knew your objection was going to be interest rates. So there's got to be something else that's the root of it. What's causing you to say like, hey, what's got you going down this path? You know, one of the questions I ask buyers when they come from our website is, you know, not what are you looking for? My question is, and here's my key script, not what are you looking for? How long have you been looking? Okay. There's a difference in that. And I find out what their drive is by how long they are. So if they say, I just started, okay, well, we'll have a different conversation. Oh, I've been looking for a year. Oh my gosh, a year? What's going on with that? What made you start a year ago? Same exact thing I just shared with you, seller. What makes you starting to look for a property? What has you going down this path? Buyer consultation. How long have you been looking? Wow, that's a long period of time. What started this process? So you want to find out what the root of it, what caused them to do that. And then you, once again, as you all heard me say, dive deeper, not wider, and finding out what the root of it's causing, just like Dee said here, is what is the motivation that comes from it? Does that help answer?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Christian, boy, I got different things going on here now. Now I got Christian. Thank you, Christian. Christian's got a chat over here where I'm now following the Zoom chat. 100%. Very few people buy and sell real estate because of rates. Did people take advantage of the rates? Yes. But life events and primary are the primary driver for both buying and selling. So absolutely right on that too. So it's just finding, like Dee says, like Christian, Pamela, it's finding out the root of what's causing them to make this decision. Okay. Emotion equals action. Okay. The two emotions that equal action are pain and pleasure. Okay. Those things cause you to make a shift, or a change for whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. There's positive pain. Okay. There's negative pain. Just like there's positive pleasure. Most people go off their pleasure mode because that's what they feel good. Just like that's why people don't like the gym, because, all right, I worked out, but what happens usually the next day? Oh, I'm sore. I don't want to go back to the gym. My body, the pain, but that's a good pain. If you can get past that good pain, then you could feel better. During our prayer call this morning, there was a lady that was talking about she's trying to get off the vape and she made it 3 days. She's like, I got through the pain. I'm feeling better. When I stopped drinking, the pain that first year was terrible. The first 30 days, immense. But now I feel really good. I have clarity in my life. Okay. You got to get through the pain to be able to get through the pleasure. And that is our job, is to understand what's causing them to go through this and ask them, is it a pain thing? Is it a pleasure? Now, you don't say pain and pleasure, but you ask questions to be able to dive deeper into that. So anybody got any questions either on Facebook or on Zoom here? I'm going to get these terms down. I'm just really excited that it's working right now. I'm very excited by that. We'll get people to hear more and more. Anybody got anything they would like to add or say?